Hey there, welcome to our class on physical and chemical changes in matter. Changes in matter can be classified or divided into two types. 1. Chemical changes, and 2. Physical changes. How do you know when each one occurs? Well, that is quite easy. When a change happens to matter and that change is hard to reverse, that is a chemical change. This is because new matter has been formed and it is difficult to reverse the change and take the matter back to its previous state. But when a change happens and no new substance is formed and you can easily reverse the change, well, that of course is a physical change. Let's look at some examples of both types of changes. When you dissolve salt inside water, you have a salt water solution. This is a physical change because no new substance is formed, and that salt in the solution can easily be gotten from the solution. How can you do this? When you heat the solution well enough to allow the water evaporate, you can get your salt back and even get the water back as well. Other physical changes include things like freezing water till it's turned ice and becomes solid, or leaving solid ice to melt to become liquid. When heated liquid, like water, turns to gases in form of vapor, or when vapor in the form of gas condenses to become liquid. Another physical change is when a metal like iron becomes magnetic through a process called magnetization, and when an iron loses its magnetic ability by demagnetization. Also, when mixtures are separated using separation techniques. We will discuss separation techniques in another lesson. So, separation techniques like fractional distillation, evaporation, sublimation, and crystallization, or the separations that result from these techniques, are all physical changes. Now, can you guess with examples what chemical changes are like? A very good and common example would be when wood burns. When wood burns, it does so to produce gases and ash. And this wood cannot be gotten back again. In other words, the change cannot be reversed. Other examples of chemical changes include when a metal or limestone dissolves in acid. This is a chemical change because the particles of the metal or limestone forms new kinds of substances with the particles of the acid, and it is almost impossible to get back the metal or limestone. Also, when iron rusts, it is difficult or almost impossible to get back the iron from the rusts. Another very common example of chemical change is when our food spoils or decays. Generally, the decay or fermentation of substances are all chemical changes because it is irreversible. Fermentation is a natural process that happens when bacteria break down sugar in foods or drinks, and they are used for making drinks like wine, yogurt, and beer. The last example of chemical changes we will consider is the change that occurs in an electrochemical cell. An electrochemical cell is simply a device that turns chemical energy into electrical energy. A good example of this is the battery you use to power the remote controller of your television or the battery of your phone, etc. In the next lesson, we will be looking at the particulate nature of matter. See you there.